Welcome to the Acement, everybody. It's time to go behind the funny. This is Scott Higgins.
And this is Ace Aceto.
And thank you for joining us. Thank you for downloading us. Thank you for subscribing. We appreciate it so very much. And if you have a moment, please give us that 5-star written review wherever you download your podcast. It's a great way to help the podcast. If you want to help us out another way, tell a friend. We all learn about podcasts from our friends' recommendations, and that's a way you can help us out by recommending us to a friend.
And the last way, if you really enjoy the show, is to go to our Patreon page and become a patron. And that is at www.patreon.com/behindthefunny. And what that will get you, it's one simple giving level, $5 a month. That will get you a t-shirt or a mug, some sort of merchandise, as well as unlocking bonus content that only our patrons can access.
Thank you so much for supporting us. If you want to reach out, you got a question for us, you got a comment, anything, please send us an email at behindthefunnypod@gmail.com.
And now, enjoy the show.
Be careful. He's
and Scott Higgins, both of them coked up out of their minds.
Listen to you. He's down in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I think we should call this the Acement.
The Acement, yes.
Yeah, what do you think there, huh?
I like that. The Acement Studios.
Excuse me, I'm drinking beer. Hold on a second.
We usually drink bourbon on our end.
Yeah,
when we
right.
do the podcast, so
That's all right.
feel free to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You shoot an 8-ball if you want. We don't care. As long as it's good stories.
And welcome to the Acement. It's time to go behind the funny. This is Scott Higgins. And as you can see, I'm aceless this week. Yes, Ace is out of town, but we are still bringing you the same quality entertainment you are used to. Of course, I want to mention our friends at the Mixtape Podcast. They have had some great episodes recently. These guys bring up stuff from the 80s, 90s, and they do a great job reminiscing about it, looking at it through the lens of today. And Ace and I are a couple of morons that love comedy. There's some morons that love to take trips down memory lane. It's a great hang, so definitely check those guys out at the Mixtape Podcast. And the final bit of business before we get to the fun, our bourbon date this week. Actually, we're doing a menage a bourbon this week, as I like to say, because we had a couple of guests this week. One of them, I wanted to give him the option. We're finishing up with the ammunition, and then our old friend that never lets us down, Jefferson Bourbon, is joining us. So tonight it takes two comedians to take the place of one Ace Aceto because he's a Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame member. So we reached out to two of our very favorites, and one of them said yes, and she is to my right, Shea Spillane. It's here.
Hello.
You might remember her from her fantastic episode, one of our all-time favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second one we asked said no, and then we went through 23 more people, and all of them said no. So we just asked this guy that was driving by tonight, and he came in, and he's doing the podcast. Actually, very
fantastic.
Actually, Tyler Hittner's with us tonight, and Tyler and I have been working a lot together lately, which has been a blast. I enjoy working with Tyler a lot. He's done a great job on the shows that I've seen him at and everything. So you definitely two comedians that you want to check out as soon as you can. This is what I do.
Shit.
This is what I
Who
do.
was the 23 others?
Do anybody in Rhode Island.
No.
I posted it on any open group
Any
on
open
Facebook. People I never met before. People that don't even do comedy. I'm like, can you come on the podcast, please?
Maybe I should
And they
have
went,
said no.
When Ace said, hey, I got Tyler Hittner, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm sick that night. I got something going on, anything. But no, I give Tyler a hard time, but I do love
hard time.
I do love working with him. We have a lot of fun when we do shows together.
We do.
And after the last time we had Shea on, I had her on at the Bradley Playhouse, my big theater show, and you did a great job.
Well, thank you.
You
That
know,
place is amazing.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. Tyler will never know because I'll never book him there.
You got to get through the other 23 first.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here.
In Ace's basement when he's not home.
Tell me that's not weird, huh?
Oh, serious? Like, I feel like we should like raid his fridge or like do that the creepy crawly thing from the Manson
I thought we'd all go in the pool afterwards.
There's a pool.
Oh, yeah.
There's a pool. There's stairs to get to it, but yeah.
Don't worry, I'll carry you.
Yeah, I think Scott will carry
I'll
you.
swaddle you like a young child that I'm bringing into the pool for the first time. Let's see if he could swim like a baby you drop in the pool the first time. He'll look like the cover of the Nirvana album, you know?
I almost wore my Nirvana t-shirt. It's so funny.
That would have been perfect.
Well, damn.
We could have gone underwater, taken pictures of him, like floating like the baby. But you got to be naked.
Ace's neighbors must be like, what is going on over Ace's house?
He said he was going out of town and there's a fucking party going on over there. So now the last time we had you on and we talked to you, Shea, that I remember you had done comedy, you stopped for a while, and then you had just started to come back and boom, pandemic broke.
Yeah, this is true.
So now it's been a little bit of time since then. So you've been working it out regularly?
Yeah, it's been, I'd say like about a year since I've been back. Post-pandemic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard. It's like a weird thing to remind people that you exist.
Yes, it is.
Well, because it's strange because it's not the same as like starting out brand new, but it's also not the same as you can't really just pick up where you left off.
No, you got to start over.
Yeah.
You literally have to start over.
Yeah.
If you leave a club for a while and you want to go back to the club, if you're not a headliner, if you're either hosting, opening, featuring, whatever, you basically have to like prove yourself again to get back in again.
Well, which is fine. I mean, I definitely like you take time off, you get a little bit rusty. So I've actually been running an open mic every week. It's super helpful just in like getting me in the swing of it again and getting my name back out there.
Where's your open mic at?
It's at the Crack Irish Pub in Quincy.
The Crack Irish Pub.
Yes.
Irish people don't have enough of their drinking problems. You're serving them crack as well. Nice. The Crack Irish Pub.
Well,
that's a different name.
So crack, it's CRAIC. It's actually an Irish term that means like, the bullshit. Like we're shooting the crack, we're talking the bullshit.
Perfect.
So basically like right now,
but that's
we are shooting the crack.
Perfect place to have a comedy night.
Oh, absolutely.
The bullshit Irish pub where people go to bullshit.
It's a nonsense nightmare in the best way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I see you posting, shows you each week, that you have coming up. So what night is it?
Monday nights.
All right. So anybody in the area, you want to go check out some open mics can be a lot of fun. The late, great Kevin Knox used to say it best when he would host an open mic night at the Connection in Boston.
I've heard those stories.
He'd be like, whoo, tonight you're either going to see the next Chris Rock, the next Seinfeld, or you're literally going to see a human being burst into flames. No matter what, you're going to get your money's worth. And it's so true when you go to an open mic night.
Oh, yeah. It's that's what like people have said, oh, I want to come by and watch. I'm like, no, come to like an actual show that I'm on. Like the open mic is not.
Yeah, right. If friends want to see me, come to a regular show. But I just want to go, like Ace and I have been hitting some open mics lately because both of us want to work on a new set, new stuff. And so we've been going to these open mics and we're watching, and we're discovering some new comics that are starting that are pretty funny, and then we're seeing some other people that were like, okay, they got to keep working at it and stuff like that. But we were all there once, so that's fine. But we're it's kind of reinvigorating us and getting us excited about writing and coming up with new ideas again.
Oh, definitely.
So it's been a lot of fun. So now, Tyler, you work a lot. I mean, you work every week.
I do. I'm doing 3 shows a week at this point. Yes.
No, he hustles, Shea.
I mean, hustling right
he
now.
is constantly posting pictures from all the shows he does, and I'm like, he's got a beautiful wife, a little baby that
we were talking about.
They're going to be leaving him shortly because he's never home. He's never ever home.
That's what when we pulled up here, he was like, "Yeah, my wife's mad that I'm going out again," and I was like, "Wives do that." He's like, "We have a newborn." I was like, "Oh,
yes." I'm doing about 3 shows a week. I get 3 shows next week, and they're like,
work it."
Yeah, and I'm like happy. It's like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like it's this week. I did last night. I was in Plymouth. Tonight I'm here. Sunday I'm at the Comedy Park in Cranston. So I got decent shows.
Yeah, no, you're doing real shows, you know, and like you said, the Comedy Park, Bill Simus's new club.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of advertising that right now.
That's my next show.
Yeah, with Bill Simus. I've only been friends with him for forever. I love the guy and
love Bill.
I don't have
Bill's
a shirt.
great.
I don't have a shirt.
I bought it. I bought two of them.
Bullshit, you bought a shirt.
I bought one of you guys.
You rubbed it in my face.
No, I bought it.
You had that shirt before I did.
I rubbed it in your face, but I bought it. But I bought one of you guys' shirts too.
All right.
I didn't.
All right.
He's spreading the love.
He is.
I am.
He does.
I am.
So let me ask you now. What I find interesting is you did comedy for a while, so stopped, came back. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing differences in the way the crowd responds to your material? Because I'm assuming when you came back, at first you did stuff that you had done in the past.
Yeah.
To kind of work yourself back in before you start doing new stuff. Because Ace and I talk about this all the time because it's weird because you'll have a joke that just absolutely does great. And then it's like just the culture has shifted. And the joke is not really bad, but all of a sudden it just doesn't work anymore.
Oh, absolutely. Well, especially, I mean, everything with, you know, the internet and all of the social media, everything goes at hyperspeed compared to how it used to. But definitely I've noticed like there are some jokes that from like previously that seamlessly just still work in my act, like totally fine. There are some that I have outgrown. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are some that, like I have one of my closers is about, marriage equality, is about gay marriage becoming legal in Massachusetts.
Right.
And like, it still works kinda. Yeah. I have to, it's kind of interesting actually, like, I can gauge, and it's nice it's my closer because I can feel out the crowd for the first like 10, 15, 20, whatever minutes. But I can tell like if it's like a super kind of, how do I put this kindly?
You don't have to put it kindly.
All right.
Just
rednecky crowd. Like there's like a part where I talk about like figuring out how much you've gotten rid of homophobia in yourself. When I do it in front of like a progressive crowd, like say like Cambridge or, you know, something like that, it's like, I don't have to include that. Like it doesn't work because people are like, we've been over this, like we're done. Now, however, in rural New Hampshire, I do that part of the joke still, and it still works.
Well, and that's having, you know, some time under your belt where you can read your crowd and know what you can and what you can't. You know, do and or what'll work and what won't work, and
absolutely.
You know, reading your crowd. You know, that's. I find it kind of fun watching a newer comic who can't read a crowd, and totally is setting himself up. And you know, because we are sadistic comedians. We love. There's nothing better than watching one of our friends bomb and struggle. I'm sorry. I'll be honest. We did an open mic one night, and Ace and I called ahead, put our name on the list. I got there before the show started. I'm hanging out with our friend Rhonda Corey, and her and I are chatting. We're talking about what we want to do that night. And Ace goes, I'm running a little behind. I'll be there, whatever. They have Ace like third on the list because they spread the three of us out amongst all the newbies. And I go up there and I said to the guy that's hosting, I go, hey, Ace is running late. If you get to his spot, just throw me up and put him on later. And Ace walks in the door as the person before his spot is walking off the stage. Literally, they're walking off. He's walking in, and the host goes, and our next act just got here, ladies and gentlemen, Ace Aceto. He has no time to even like look at the room to know what's going on and has to walk up and do his spot. And his first 2 minutes maximum, because Ace has been doing this long enough. He knows how to handle any situation. But the first 2 minutes, you could see him trying to get his bearings and understand, you know, who's crowd, who's the other comics and what's going on. And Rhonda and I are just sitting there laughing, just watching spin as he's trying to figure all this out. And it was great. And he comes off afterwards. He goes, one of you guys couldn't take that spot for me. And we're like, well, we would have, but it wouldn't have been quite as fun as watching you do that.
That was worth the fun just to watch him scramble.
It was fantastic.
I will say though that sometimes like that can be my favorite time to do a set, just like walking up and being completely just like taken off guard, because there's something about that nervous energy that can kind of like push it along a little bit. Yeah. Like it can you know, it can hurt you or it can help you depending on the crowd too.
Now back to the material question, because I've had several things. I'm this year's 20 years that I've been doing it.
Wow.
And
Get it.
I've had
20?
I started in 2002.
Wow.
And there's a few jokes, and the jokes themselves are not bad, but there are trigger words in the joke. So people don't listen to the context as soon as they hear the word. So I've just stopped because it's one joke.
What's not going to word?
One of them was about a rape. No, one of them was about
make him say it now.
No,
yeah, I gotta know now.
One of them was about a rape whistle.
Oh, you told me that joke.
And they don't let me finish the joke when they hear the word rape whistle.
No.
See, that's maddening.
We've talked about that joke.
Yeah, and they just don't let me finish it. And the whole context of the joke is me being an idiot and not understanding something. And so, but rather than, I've tried different versions of it. And I'm like, why am I fighting so hard for this 1 minute joke out of 45 minutes that I do when I do a set?
Yeah.
I'll just take it out. It's not that big of a deal to me. Where I know other comics will fight to say, I'm still going to do the joke. I have a right to do the joke. That's kind of the dilemma we get into all the time. I'm not George Carlin. George Carlin could say whatever the hell he wanted when he went on stage. He can preach. He can do anything. Yeah. People don't, when they come to a show that I'm closing the show, they just went to a comedy show. They don't know me. So my job is to entertain them. I'm an entertainer. If I'm doing too many things that pushes their buttons, I'm not entertaining them. So I don't feel like I'm doing my job. But other comics will say, no, wrong. You should just say whatever you have to say.
Well, I think that there's two sides of that, because like on the one hand, I do think that just society in general has gotten a little too sensitive.
I agree.
Like just a smidge.
I agree.
And there's a lot of things that it's like people get exactly what you said. People get offended by words instead of by context and by if you were talking about a rape whistle and like endorsing rape, then I'd be like, yeah, maybe it's probably a bad joke to do.
He knows the joke, but basically I said, I saw the whistle on the keychain, I blew it, and nobody touched me. The thing doesn't even work.
See, I think that's an excellent joke.
It was just a stupid little thing. But I actually had someone come up to me after the show because I talked about it being on my daughter's friend's keychain, and I went outside to move her car, and I noticed the whistle on the keychain, and I'm like, what an ego this kid has. So I blew it. Nobody even touched me. I don't think it works, And the woman came up to me after the show and she goes, I can't believe you want your daughter's friend to get raped.
Oh,
and I'm like, wow, that was nowhere in there.
Yeah.
There's no part of that.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is that people like legit, and I see this in a lot of different areas and with jokes with like on Facebook, like people are literally looking for something to be angry about.
Yes.
And they will like take one word and be like, okay, well, this triggered me into, and they'll go somewhere like completely like out of left field.
Here's a question for you. Why do those people go to comedy shows?
That's what I don't understand.
Do you feel like it's a level of self-importance that it comes into play where it's like, you can't make fun of me because I'm too important?
I don't think it's a self-importance thing. You hit the thing that bothers them.
Right.
So but if you think about it, everybody in the room has something that is their trigger that bothers them.
Right.
This person is cancer. This person was the word rape. This person over here is drugs.
Right.
This person over here is spousal abuse. So I could possibly hit 4 different people's trigger. But you're at a comedy show. You have to take it in context of where you're at.
Well, and that's the thing is, I think you're entirely correct in that it's kind of like going on Splash Mountain and getting mad if you get wet.
Right.
Like you go to a comedy show. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Jeff Ross. There was somebody recently. Oh, it was the Jada Pinkett thing. And
yes.
Jeff Ross came out and said like, I have alopecia, and if people make ball joke, I laugh because it is what it is. And like, just like a short guy will laugh at a short, like it's, in the context of comedy, it really is like, should you go out of your way to offend somebody? Probably not. But at the same time, there is a level of, and don't get me wrong, I don't want to get into the Academy Awards thing because that has just been like done to death. But in the context of a comedy club, like that does, I remember there was one time that a girl got like really angry at me for calling her mouthy. And I was like, well, first of all, because
What kind of mouthy?
I called her a mouthy bitch because she was talking in the middle of the show.
Now you put it in the proper
repeatedly.
context.
I
It might
called
not
her
have been just
mouthy
the
bitch.
mouthy.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
I think it was the bitch part.
It was the whole thing.
But it was
the mouthy bitch sandwich
like
that
mouthy-
really brought it out of her.
I like mouthy bitches.
Yeah, well, that's I said like even the mouthy bitch in the corner will like this one, and I used bitch as a.
You know what? If she's wrecking the show for everybody else, it is what it is.
Well, and that was the thing is I was the host. It was like I forget who was like they had talked through the Features Act and the headliner was coming on, and and it was one of those things that, she came to the back of the show and was like, that was personal, and I was like, it's literally I don't know.
She
your
said
name.
that was personal.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know your name. Like that can't. The definition of personal is like you were interrupting the show. She's like, well, I'm a really nice person. I was like, nice people don't interrupt comedy shows and yell at the host after she says something to them.
Exactly. And that's the other thing. I did a show last Friday night, a fundraiser for this beautiful young woman who, when she was younger, she had cancer and it came back. So they did a fundraiser for her friends, which was fantastic. They raised $11,000 for her.
Wow.
This night to help her out. It was fantastic. I was so proud to be part of it. Tom Stewart put on the fundraiser. Our friend Tom Stewart. If you're into paranormal podcasts, let me give a shout out to Tom's My Paranormal Story. It's a great podcast. Half hour or less episodes where he tells stories from his actual paranormal investigations.
Yes.
So check out his My Paranormal Story by Tom Stewart. So give him a punch. But Tom had me and James Firth on the show. James, another guy I love.
James.
Now, when James goes up, there's a guy at a table next to where we're sitting who, like, James starts talking. The guy goes, yes, I know what you're talking about. I went through that last week. And it's like, oh, God, he thinks he's having a conversation with the comedians. Now, I'm like, okay, this guy's going to be the problem.
Yes.
Then there was a woman at another table that started yelling out when Tom was up there, and literally enough to make Tom have to stop his jokes to kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
And then she left the room. So I get up there, I'm closing the show. 20 minutes into my 45-minute set, she comes back in, puts her drinks down on the table. She's totally drunk, obviously. Walks up on stage with me.
What?
Yes. Was she pretty?
No.
Oh.
No.
Because that would have made it okay.
It makes it okay.
No, it doesn't.
Does not make
no,
it
it doesn't.
okay.
I'm
If
sorry.
anything, it makes it worse
To me, it
because
does.
pretty people have this sense of entitlement.
Yes.
That oh,
Well, when
I'm
I
okay
first
with
walked on
similar to
stage,
drunk people.
Just so everyone knows.
when I
I'm
first
okay
walked
with
on
it.
stage, I said to the crowd, I said, listen, Tom and James are really, really nice guys. I'm a fucking asshole. Okay. So you chatty Cathys that keep pulling your own string and yakking,
Mouthy
shut the fuck up
bitches.
right now.
Mouthy
'cause
bitches.
I'm
I'm
not
just going to
dealing
spread
with
that like wildfire.
Mouthy
I'm going to start
bitches.
using that from now on.
Bitches.
You mouthy bitches.
Because it's just,
Mouthy
it's not quite, can I say the C word on here?
It's
It's not quite the C word. I'll just say the C word. But it's enough. You know what I mean? And it is, bitch has taken on a connotation where it can just mean like chick. It's like chick.
Bitch almost isn't a swear anymore.
It's really not. And that's the thing
It
is that
almost
like
isn't.
I was literally using it as like I could have said the mouthy chick or the mouthy broad.
I
You know
don't
what I
know.
mean? Like
you
I
say
was,
broad, I think that's more insulting than saying bitch.
See,
I don't know.
I love the word broad. And I am a broad, so I can say it.
I don't
We're
know,
taking
but-
it, we're taking it back, guys.
If my wife walked in a room, I was like, hey, bitch. It's not the same as hey, chick.
Oh yeah,
Not the
maybe don't
same.
say it. Maybe don't
But
say
if
it to
one of
your
her
wife.
friends goes to your wife, you're one of my bitches.
Yeah, that's the thing is like when
Wait,
women
nothing
say
wrong
it
with
to
it.
other
I
women,
had-
it's different.
I had a teacher who, when I was in school, I remember she told us to another girl.
She said you're one of her
No.
bitches.
I wish she was really on.
Now all you bitches turn to page 27.
Listen, you little bitches.
She said
You
to another
bitches
girl.
got detention.
All y'all bitches got detention. Where'd you go to school? The Bronx?
Coventry High School. The town we're in. She said, women, if you call each other bitches, that means a guy now can call you a bitch a lot easier because he sees your friends doing it.
Oh yeah, that's
don't agree.
in Mean Girls they say that.
Oh,
don't
do
agree.
they?
Yeah, and that's like one of the things
Oh,
in
I
Mean
thought
Girls.
she was being like,
I don't agree
so
either.
smart.
It's our word.
Can I have another shot?
Okay, that
Can I have another shot?
you need some more.
Yeah, I need more.
Oh, I thought you meant like another chance. I was like, dude,
No.
you did good.
No,
What are you talking about?
I don't agree with that because certain groups can use certain words.
Yeah.
And then if you're outside that group, you can't because
Right.
The
go to a
connotation.
go to a
changes.
basketball court and drop the N-word on somebody,
And
and
see
you're
how
gonna.
that
And I
goes.
don't care. A lot of you guys that are watching or listening don't know.
No,
that-
don't tell him. No, you can tell him.
Tyler has a handicap. He came wheeling in, and he fakes it for the laughs, but
I'm
anyway,
pretty sure that
even you would get punched in the face if you dropped that word at at the wrong place.
That would actually be a really fun social experiment.
I feel like
to have him
To see
wheel
it-
in
to see if-
with his walker,
to see if like
and go,
how they would
"Yo, my
react."
ninjas!"
To see if like
Pow!
my ninjas.
I feel like let's do it.
Yeah, let's
'Cause
go.
who's
Let's
gonna
go.
hit me?
Where's the nearest Y?
Dude, they will. I don't care. They will hit you.
That will.
I got 100.
This
that
is not
says
the hill I want to die on. This is not my first
That'd be amazing.
live podcast.
So how did
Comedian
So
says
how did he?
N-word.
So how did he break his jaw? Well, him and Shea and Scott were on a podcast, and they were talking about how they should try this.
And Scott put up $100 for him to go drop the N-word on some guys at a basketball court.
You'll see my walker up on bricks. They took the wheels.
It's hanging on the top of the backboard, and you're tossed off to the
They
side
took
somewhere.
they took the wheels and cut my catalytic converter off.
You're just scraping the metal rods on the ground
Guys,
as you go back to your car.
does anyone here have any tennis balls I can borrow?
You know what? That irritates the shit out of
What,
me.
the tennis balls?
The tennis balls on the bottom of the
All right,
old
so
people walkers.
let's
Because
talk
hold
about-
on,
let's talk
it's
about it.
2022.
Okay.
Okay, all the scientific inventions we have in the world. We had put a rover on Mars where we could search for water, but the tennis ball is still the best invention to put on the front of a walker.
No,
Good point.
first of
It's
all-
tricky to get
all right,
on there
so
too.
first of all, two things. It's on the back. You have wheels in the front.
I don't give a shit where it is.
All right, you have wheels in the front.
It's to stop
They
you from
can't
making
make
tracks in the
their own
carpet.
thing for that.
Yeah,
Second-
just like put like rubber
second-
balls down there.
Second,
I hate that I'm doing this while I
Second.
talk about it.
Well, we do.
second
Could you do that again, please?
balls.
Balls.
How big are the balls that you're holding that you have to hold your?
Well,
hand-
these are for
They're
the
re-
walker. Like
They're regulation.
You're holding the Jolly Green Giants balls because you have your hands a foot apart.
balls.
How fast do you think we should be going? Like,
But like I know what he means though, that there
No.
could be
No, I
something
get it.
I'm saying
specifically
it's
for
okay
the
that
walker.
they need something
So-
there.
Yeah.
But how about a walker stopper or some specific device for that? Not tennis balls.
so you guys don't know this. So say, all right.
You are the resident expert.
drop
I-
some
I-
knowledge.
All right, wait, I'm gonna go over this. So say it's you got a new set of tennis balls put on your walker that day. You went to the dealership, had them
Ooh.
put in, right?
They put it up on the lift, checked it out,
They checked it
installed
out.
a new set of tennis balls.
They did a quick 60. What? No,
They did a multi-point
They did
inspection.
a quarter-mile inspection because that's all you could. Anyways, so you get new tennis balls on it. The first time you go out and you grind the bottom of the tennis balls off and you wear off the good off of them, fucking useless.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, my mom had her hip replaced recently. Hi, Mom. But that's exactly what I thought. The doctor told her, the physical therapist said to put the tennis balls on, and I did, and it's tricky. You're
It's
gonna cut like just the right size hole.
Oh no,
You
no,
have
they
to,
make
like-
them pre-cut.
Oh, they do.
They make them pre-cut.
I almost
See,
stabbed
you
myself in the
should-
hand doing that.
Yes.
I went to like the sports section of Walmart.
Right,
No.
you got to talk to a resident
They're
expert.
they're pre-cut. You buy them pre-cut.
Why didn't
Oh,
we
you
do
can,
this? Why didn't
he's
we
like
do
a
this 2 months ago?
sushi chef when it comes to tennis balls and walkers.
and
He
stick
can
in the
go,
hole.
But
You want California roll?
But you know what? Have you ever seen me with the tennis ball walker?
No, you have the
I have-
deluxe edition.
yeah, that thing. It's got a
You-
pocket.
Right.
It's got a pouch. It's
Yeah.
got a pouch.
He's got the. I'm doing a show with him a couple weeks ago, a Sunday afternoon show. So there isn't anybody in the audience with actual hair color. It's all gray in this afternoon show, but the place is
The
packed.
early bird special.
But yeah, it was a what was it, 2:00 show?
It was
Ooh.
it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
1:00 show.
It was 1 o'clock.
Lunch at noon, and then 1:00 show. Okay, because him and I do
Comedy.
we do the big shows in the
Oh,
area.
yeah.
Now it's sold out. It's packed.
Yeah, it did.
It's absolutely packed, which was great because I was home by 3. on a Sunday. But anyway, we're sitting over the side, talking. The host is up there. He actually bragged. He pointed to this old man with a walker. He goes, "That's my old walker." He goes, "It's my grandfather. I gave him my old walker." I did. You bragged to me that you gave your grandfather your old walker. I'm like, seriously? That's your big thing?
I totally did that. And you know what's funny was
he's like, half the handicap and commentary have my old walkers.
No big deal.
I gift them.
No big deal.
Something I've never talked about with many people is when say you know me and I'm disabled. Say you have a grandparent that passes away who had a walker. They'll come up to me. They'll be like, "Hey, Susie passed away, and we know you like the. She has a walker.
She has an Escape LX with leather interior.
Yeah.
Take it for a test
And
drive.
they try to give me the old person's walker with passed away all the time. I'm like, I don't want your haunted walker. I don't want. How many miles are on it though? Like how many?
Let me ask you a question, Tyler. Well, how long have you been doing comedy now?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
First time you ever did comedy was where?
Mohegan Sun.
Oh, really? Comics?
Yep, it was
That's
at Comics.
that's quite a first time.
That's a big first time.
I've
man.
never-
Mine was a bar in Charlestown.
Yeah, most people
Yeah.
do a bar gig somewhere.
I've never held a microphone before, and someone gave me 10 minutes and said, "Get out there and do 10."
Who gave you 10 minutes?
Brian Bowden gave me. It was
Wow.
it was a bringer.
Brian's a good guy. So
Yeah, yeah.
Now let me ask you a question. Do you remember what your first joke was?
Yeah, it's still my first bit that I start off with every time.
Okay.
I went up there with a direction. I was just going to talk about childhood
Yeah.
because I knew, the funniest thing is the most relatable thing, and we all went through we were all kids once. Mike Murray taught me that. We were all kids once, so we all remember growing up. So I just talked about growing up.
Don't go by everything Mike Murray
I don't go. I love Mike Murray.
Dude, listen, okay? Listen.
So that was my first time, and I just talked
Is that
about
cool or what?
I talked about our childhood, and it was relatable. Going to camp and just stuff like that.
I didn't see you in the beginning. I've only seen you more recently.
Yeah.
But one thing I think you've done well with your material, and I don't know if that's newer, is he takes his experiences going to handicap camp and he relates it to normal camp.
Yes.
So everybody in the audience is in on what's going on with the story, even though it's his experience.
Yes.
He makes it relatable to everybody in the room.
Ooh, tricky.
Which not everybody does.
Nicely done.
If they're talking about people that talk about a mental disorder or a physical handicap or something like that, they don't always make it relatable to everybody. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's done that really well with his material. Some of his stuff's real hacky, but that's okay.
Wow, thank you.
No, I think that's one of the things I've liked about your material since the first time I saw you is that's a tough line to walk when you want to talk about this personal experience. I know using walk with you, it's kind of odd.
Tough line to follow.
No, but it's a tough line to toe, to wheel down, if you will. If you to want to talk about those experiences that are unique to you.
Yes.
That some people may like, well, I didn't grow up like that,
and
you got to be able to pull those people into this story that you're telling, and you've done a good job by making it relatable.
Thank you.
Yeah, to bridge the gap between their experience and your experience.
Right.
Right. Just like you when you were up on stage at the Bradley and I watched you, Shea, you encompass everybody in the audience. Because that crowd is a strange crowd at times, because we will get half of them are people that only come to the comedy shows there. Yeah. That's it. That's all they ever come for. And the other half of the crowd are people that go to every show at the Bradley. They'll go to Cinderella.
Are they like
they'll
members?
go to White Christmas. Some of them are.
Yeah.
150 people buy season tickets because they have a season ticket for all the plays, and then we do a laugh pass where they can buy all 4 comedy shows. Oh, cool. So these people are supporters of the theater, so they go to everything at the theater. Even if it's something they wouldn't normally go to, they go because it's at the theater. So, I like to watch the audience, and I like to watch, because every comedian, I'll go out to the side and stand along the sidewall so I can see the crowd and the performer. And kind of, to see who does well, who doesn't, and I put that in the back of my mind for future when I book the styles of comedians that I'm going to have up there, because it's a unique audience there.
Absolutely.
It's not a place where you can be hardcore dirty, because you're going to lose at least half the crowd there, if not all. If you try to be too smart for them, then the other half of the crowd is going to be like, I don't want to listen to this shit. If you're trying to be Stephen Colbert-ish type of thing,
highbrow,
yeah, too high, where you're trying to flaunt it,
yeah,
type of thing. If you can make it relatable to everybody in that room, that's always impressive to me, to people like Ken. I don't look at myself when I do well there, because I know 3/4 of the people that are there. It's my hometown area, so I know the people. So to me, I don't judge myself. I look at everybody else and how they do.
Judge everybody else.
Not judge them, but
No,
I'm like, all right, wow, they had everybody in here laughing.
Well,
that's a sign of a good comic that can make it relatable to, because we have people that are 80 and people that are 20 in that room.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying so, because I'll be honest with you, I did not think I did too well that night.
I know you said it that night.
Well, but a lot of it too was, are they still doing masks there?
No, we're done. We thank God. That hurt us so bad when we were there, because it held back the number of people that went, and it also, I think that people didn't enjoy themselves as much. And especially when I had to chastise them at the beginning to make sure you don't take your mask off.
Well, and acoustically, it was hard to, I'd be able to see people's, smile lines.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I think this is working, but it just, it's harder to tell.
Yeah, that way you got 180 people in the room, all wearing masks, and it muffling their laughs.
Yeah.
In a big room that needs big laughs.
You can feel that
you need
you
that
want them
in this
pushed
room.
forward.
Yeah.
God, that place is so beautiful though.
It's 100 and
you feel like
22-year-old vaudeville theater.
As I was going to say, you feel like the ghosts of flappers and stuff are going to be hanging out down. I went down the basement just
It's funny you say that, because one of the things we do on this podcast is Ace loves paranormal shows and investigations.
Really?
Loves it. It. Last October, one of our lovely watcher/listener/fans knows how much I hate fucking paranormal shit.
Oh, you hate it and he loves it?
Yes. So about 3 years ago, I think it was
couple.
3, maybe 4 years ago, Tom Stewart came in.
Yeah.
And Tom talked about some of his paranormal investigations, and halfway through the episode, Ace looked at Tom and goes, "This is the quietest I've ever seen Scott. I don't think he said anything for 15 minutes." Ace goes, he goes, "I look at you and you're sweating and you haven't said a thing, because it's not I'm not into that stuff."
Why? What's the turnoff?
Fucking ghosts.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What about it?
Okay, it's no.
You don't want to.
I don't watch horror movies.
That's what I was going to ask next. Is if you watch horror movies.
Any horror movies.
You say no the same way I say no to seafood. You're like, no, gross.
I don't watch horror movies, scary movies. To me, scary movies are like Silence of the Lambs.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that was a scary movie.
Yes, but I don't watch The Conjuring.
I was just about to ask you if you've ever seen The Conjuring.
I do not watch shit like that. But yeah, Ace.
Why?
My best friend.
Wait, wasn't The Conjuring in Coventry, Rhode Island?
No, Burrville.
No, it wasn't in Burrville. It was.
It was in.
Don't
Rhode
challenge
Island,
me.
Though,
it wasn't in Burrville. It was not in Burrille.
You can say it in the place.
The
I know.
farm had Round Top, which is just outside of Burrville.
Yeah, it was
look
not,
at this Rhode Island.
It's right on the Massachusetts line.
It was not Burrille. I promise you, it was not Burrille.
You want to fucking challenge me?
I was gonna say I've got my phone right here.
We'll have a woman Google it. It was not Burrille.
We'll have a woman Google it.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was
that was pointed.
Wow.
Because women
I
always
am a women, but
my best friend.
That was cattier than I ever get.
My best friend, my co-host, is arranging for us to do an investigation at the Conjuring House,
which is in not Burrille.
What town is it in?
Hang on, we're getting there.
Warren.
The
It's not
farm
even
on
close.
Round Top
The
Bridge.
Found on Round Top.
Type in Conjuring.
All right.
No, shut
Let's
up.
see.
It's called the Farm on Round
Shut
Top.
up,
It just sold for over $1 million.
Harrisville, Rhode Island.
Harrisville.
Which borders?
No, that's not what you fucking
Does
said.
it?
You said it was in
It's
Burville.
nowhere. It borders
in
Burville,
Harrisville.
nowhere near Warren.
Yeah, but still, it's
Nowhere
not
near.
Burville.
I mean, but if we're going by like Price is Right, like Scott has it.
Fuck me.
That's like saying where's Arizona close to, and you say Maine, and I say Colorado.
No, you said Burville so confidently, and it's not that.
I do. Well, adjacency is. I do like. I will say I love that the two of you are
Wait.
arguing about the location of something in like one of the smallest or the smallest thing.
Wait.
I would say, is
wait,
it still
wait.
smaller than
It is.
Hawaii? Yeah.
It's small.
Is Harrisville a town in Burville? Like,
You mean like a township or
is
something?
it like a county?
Dude, why are you trying to disprove your side?
Because I think I might be wrong, and I can admit when I'm wrong. But if it's like a county,
It's definitely in that area of Burville.
It's in that area.
Harrisville, yes.
Yeah, but
I thought it was Burville, but
yeah, I didn't think it was Burville.
Harrisville is a census designated place and village in the town of Burrillville, in Providence County, Rhode Island. Oh,
all right.
And you haven't seen the movie. Like that's impressive that you knew that when it's
Don't fucking give him
like
an
you
attaboy.
don't want to.
We
I
have-
mean, he deserves
Okay.
an attaboy. What do you want
okay.
from him?
Last year,
Does Ace have
What?
any Oreos?
one of our
Nice segue.
Oh, Cheez-Its.
last
I
year
cheese it's in my car.
last year one of
Can
our
you get them, please?
one of our loyal fans
Fuck.
nicknamed October Scotttober. Scotttober. We normally have Tom in to do some paranormal discussions, but last year, my buddy Ace booked 4 guests based on paranormal themes for the month of October.
My house was built in 07. I still feel like it's haunted.
1907?
No, 07, 2007.
It's
Like, I know the joke.
What is like a hamster died there?
I don't know, but like I wake up and I'm like,
So
there's something else in this room, but it turns out to be my
his
wife.
ghosts are like 12 years old.
My ghosts are
Trick
like,
or treat.
hey, do you know the Wi-Fi password? You know?
His
There's a joke.
his
You got a joke right there.
his ghosts were on MySpace.
My ghost
Yeah.
has a Nintendo Switch.
My house was built in 2007. It's haunted.
Can you guys
They're kind of
imagine?
new
By-
ghosts. They have
by
their own
Tom.
Facebook page.
Yeah.
Can you guys
They're
imagine
on
if,
Twitter.
if I was a ghost? Like, would I be like a disabled ghost?
True. If
Like,
you
yeah,
die and come back as a ghost,
Do I?
are you still disabled?
Right.
I
That
mean,
would suck.
Technically,
That would be
technically
terrible.
don't like theoretically don't they float? So it wouldn't.
Yeah, but
Not
like,
no, they
no.
do not.
They
no,
do
they don't.
not.
They
No.
do not.
Oh,
There's
interesting.
2 types of ghosts.
I love that you corrected me. Like I like
There's two
like
types
I
of
like said
fucking
that
ghosts.
2 plus 2
or
is
2
7.
types of entities, if
There's
you will.
orbs.
No.
There's
no,
ghosts
no,
and
Fuck
demons,
me.
right?
No, not necessarily.
No.
There,
no,
there
no.
are what they found is 2 types. There
Okay.
are residual,
Okay.
and then there are intelligent.
Okay, so residuals reliving their life. When
They're
they lived
reliving a moment in time,
in their
like
life.
a Civil War soldier
Yes.
that's constantly marching on the battlefield back and
Yes.
forth.
And then the
He's not aware of anything else except he's marching a battlefield. And then intelligent is aware of things that are going on.
Interesting. So an intelligent one would be like, you know, if all of a sudden your laptop just closed right now.
You could communicate with them.
Hey ghost in Ace's basement.
don't do that.
Close
Don't do
Scott's laptop.
Satori,
Actually, don't because it'll knock us off the air.
Satori and Cody tried to communicate in here
Really?
when we were there.
Did they get anything?
They were getting a feeling from their items, they said, but not from the house.
You should have them go to your house.
Nope.
Yeah, you're.
But Ace wants to arrange for Ken DaCosta from Rise Up Paranormal, Tom Stewart, and us to do an investigation at the Bradley Playhouse.
Oh, that would be
That's fun.
awesome.
That's fun. That's a good idea.
That's super fun.
To do an actual investigation at the Bradley.
Yeah, I mean,
And they want to videotape it because Ace's hope is to come on here one week and have footage of me running, screaming out
from
of the building.
Bradley.
I haven't been to the Bradley yet, but there might be
Oh, it's
ghosts
beautiful.
Don't hold your breath.
there. I want to be there.
Well, I think that like I always go back and forth on how much I believe in, you know, anything paranormal, but I definitely believe in like energy, because there are certain things like you walk into the Bradley, you can feel this
Oh my
old,
God, yes.
you know.
Well, and that's one thing Jason also told us about too, is sometimes you can get that same feeling in old buildings because the way the electricity is in the building, it's not as insulated as newer buildings are nowadays. And that electric energy creates a magnetic force that you can feel.
Oh, you ruined it.
I was saying that makes me kind of sad.
No, but they believe these entities, and Tom Stewart has proved this through some of his investigations. That one of the ways they connect is through manipulating electromagnetic energy.
Interesting.
So that's why, when they're in rooms doing investigations and they get these feelings of dread or these feelings of things that they feel are these entities passing them on, is through electromagnetic energy.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because even
I think you need to pass the bourbon on.
Even
All right, hang on. Let me do one more shot.
Even
Take a shot.
I'll walk by, like a Buddhist temple and feel a sense of calm over me. And then, I'll walk by, I don't know, an emergency room and not.
No,
things like, you know what I mean?
It's true. Those things can affect people.
It's very interesting.
So I think that Shea should run the first ever paranormal comedy night.
Oh, I would love that.
Where we let the entities get up and do time.
This next comic.
All of a sudden, you just see a mic floating out of the stand and go, so what year did you die?
It doesn't move the mic stand. You're like, oh, this is a new ghost.
Yeah, you see it just fumbling as he's trying to take it out.
No.
First time.
One of them just puts the mic in the hole in his head.
Oh,
Jesus.
that old hack. Someone did that last week.
Jesus Christ.
No, I think it'd be fun. Do you know what? I can just have all the ghosts from the Bradley come and do it.
All right, seriously.
We'll invite the ones from your
Have
house.
you ever been in there after hours where it's dark?
Yes.
Is it? Do you feel the energy?
I'll tell this story real quick, and then we got to move on to a different subject because you're
getting scared.
No, because I want to move on. My daughters have all acted there. My daughters were all musicians.
Okay.
They acted. They were all dancers. 2 of them were on competition teams, so they were all performers.
Yep.
2 of them did summer camps that they did acting camps there and everything. And one of them has told me that there's a famous story about the Lady in Black.
Okay.
The Lady in Black is an actress that hung herself there.
Okay.
Back in the 20s. It was a jilted lover.
A what?
Jilted lover. She was
Are we using 1920s terms too?
That's right.
Means like
me and this dame were getting it on.
Yeah, what the hell?
And I striked up a lucky strike.
Yeah.
That's right. She had some set of stems, this dame. No, but she was having an affair with this guy that was married.
Okay.
She wanted him to leave his wife. He said no, so she hung herself.
Okay.
But now she watches every performance at the Bradley.
Okay.
Now the Bradley has the balcony up above.
Yeah.
And in the back of the balcony is an old box that used to be like the VIP box where people would sit and watch shows. Now it's mostly like they have extra lighting in there, and it's like slight storage, but there's still chairs in there. She sits in there and watches all the shows.
Oh, I thought you were
and
saying
people have reported seeing a shadow of someone sitting up there watching shows.
Oh,
I swear to God, I
just got goosebumps again.
I sold them on their first comedy night in 2014. That's when I went there and said, I want to do a comedy night here. They said, okay. We did it. Successful. It was great. So 2014, it's 2022. We've done shows there every year except 2020. Okay. I have never looked up in that section when I'm on stage.
Just because you don't want to be right.
Because I don't know what my reaction will be if I ever see a shadow or an image or anything up there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if I could. Do I go, holy shit? What is that? Am I going to continue with my act?
Well, and especially
I don't know. So I just don't look.
Would you throw out a 1920s joke?
Dude, that might make me freeze in my tracks.
Well,
it might throw me off.
I feel like, well, that's the thing is, I feel like if you saw it not knowing if you might just kind of pass it off, but where you like heard the story, if you saw it, you'd be like standing there trying to figure out like, are my eyes fucking with me, or is this?
But it might make me stop and just totally lose my concentration. I'd be out of my head as far as performing, and next thing I know, I'm just staring at this thing that's up there, and the next thing I know, I see a flashlight come on, they walk away, and it's just an usher that was standing there the whole time, or something.
Or they're giving you the light.
That's so funny.
It's my show. I give the lights.
Oh, you give the lights.
That's so funny. You walk in like, oh, so is there anything I should know about the room? Oh yeah, the acoustics are pretty good. Just don't look up to the lady.
There's a lady that hung herself. She's not the old box, but she's in the old box in the tub.
So that's a very real thing that has been said there for years. So they want to do investigation.
So you have to do that. Yeah, totally.
Now Tom has said that there's a lot of old theaters throughout New England that they've done investigations at that have a lot of energy in them, and they get a lot of feedback.
I mean, a lot of stuff. If you think about like the stuff that happens in theaters in terms of just like between. Like a lot of people's whole lives play out in theaters. You know what I mean? Between like rehearsals, after parties, things like that.
It's a lot involved if you get involved with a theater.
Oh yeah,
a lot of time.
It's so interesting.
It is.
Well, I'm watching that.
Yeah. You'll see me running, screaming out the door. But
just for that, I'll watch that.
Now, let me since I mentioned the lovely lady that walked on stage with me last week, and literally, by the way, I sat there and I made a few jokes, and I'm trying to get her off stage, and she was so inebriated she would not leave the stage, and I'm sitting there waiting for people to get the point that you need to come get her.
Yeah.
And people would not come get her last weekend, and finally 2 people came and got her off the stage, and I went, this is great. I have to continue the show after she basically climbed on board the train, grabbed the emergency brake cable, and ground it to a halt. And you guys are all watching her get walked away, and I'm supposed to be funny. And because you got to acknowledge the elephant in the room at this point, that this has happened. I go, because she wanted us to keep talking about this one guy in the audience named John Pena. So I kept going, she wants me to talk about John's penis or something that's going on over here. And that got a little bit of a giggle because I said the name wrong, and I'm just trying to get them focused back on, okay, it's a comedy show, and bring them back. I probably spent a good 5 to 7 minutes just getting them refocused on the fact that
reel things back in.
A comedy show going on. So let me ask you, since COVID ended and we got back into, it seems like comedy shows have come back pretty strong, especially this year, 2022.
Yeah.
Any bad gig stories or rough shows that you guys have had to deal with or experience in the past year?
You can go first.
Honestly, I can't think of one. Because I think that people are just so happy to be back. It's like and not necessarily like bad, like, oh my God, that I never want to do comedy again, but just just weird or strange or something different you have to deal with, or just out of the norm. Or let me think.
I'm looking for an entertaining story, damn it.
I did a show with Ace where the bar was right next to the stage. That's always interesting.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. Which is tricky too. Like I feel like it's always tricky when there's a lot of other stuff going on, because you just said exactly like you just said, you have to kind of wrangle back. Like, okay, like I know like that person's getting whiskey and this person wants to sign up for that raffle, but like we're all trying to, this is sweet. I need like an hour of your time.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting dealing with and I've told the stories a couple times. The worst 2 that I ever dealt with back when I first started, 2002, they're still smoking in bars and restaurants. And I did a contest, Sam Adams Comedy Festival. And we did it at this bar in Providence. I forget the name of the bar. Tom Dustin, great comedian.
Oh, I love Tom.
He lives down in Florida now. He won the contest. But him and I are on the finals. And Tom's on stage. At the stage. It was a 2x2 piece of plywood on top of a pallet that they put in front of the cigarette machine. Tom's on stage doing his set. Guy comes over, starts putting change into the cigarette machine.
Cigarette machines are like the most beautiful thing because it's such an old thing.
And Tom's just doing his set. This is 2002, it's 20 years ago. And then the guy finally starts tapping Tom in the middle of his set. And Tom looks at me and goes, "Can you pull Marlboros for me?" Because Tom was in the way. So Tom had to turn around and pull the big lever out and drop the Marlboro so the guy could go back to the bar. And Tom goes, "Well, that's a first." And then he goes on because what do you do in that situation other than pull the Marlboros for the guy?
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing you could do at that point.
Well, that's just like if we're going back, there was one time I did Dick Doherty, may he rest in peace.
Love Dick.
Dick Doherty's room out in Worcester. And I'm doing
the attic.
Yes. And I'm doing my set and there's someone heroin dosing in the front row.
Seriously?
Yeah. And like, I can't confirm that it was heroin, but it's literally, I'm from,
and this was post 2020.
No, I'm saying I'm going back.
Sorry.
Like I'm from Quincy, Massachusetts. I know what it looks like when someone's on heroin.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where I was like, do I address it or do I? But he was like, literally, it's like, I'm looking at the audience and like, this guy's right here. So finally I was just like, sir, are you okay? Like my jokes aren't that bad, are they? Like I said something to address the fact that he was passing out and then like person next to him kind of shoved him and he just kind of like came up a little bit. But yeah, it's weird. Like that's what's strange about doing stand-up, any kind of live theater, but stand-up in particular, because you are so engaged with the audience. It's like you don't want to derail things, but at the same time, if something is like crazy obvious, like you can't just not say anything about it.
If someone goes to see a play, they don't yell up at the performers to try to have a conversation.
Exactly.
If you go see a band, they don't try to have a conversation with the band. But with stand-up, it's the only art form where people feel they have a right to try to engage with you, talk with you, respond.
And they think they're helping.
Yes. There's nothing I hate more than when, dude, I was totally just trying to help you out.
I was making the show better.
They think they're part of the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now that room, the attic, was a love-hate type of relationship room, because that was a room that I was featuring for a while there. And one night Dick was closing the room and I was featuring. And this was right after Dick had gone through some cancer treatments. And just before I went up, he said, "I've never seen you do a longer set. Would you mind doing 35 minutes tonight instead of 25? And I'm like, "Yeah, Dick, that's fine. Whatever you need me to do."
Yeah.
So I went up and I did 35 minutes. And it was one of those nights that I feel I could have read out of the phone book and it would have worked.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. The stars were aligned. Just everything I said was hilarious to these people.
Like you could cough and they'd laugh.
Yes, exactly. I blow my nose and they're going to die laughing. Just everything worked.
Is that the greatest feeling?
And I get off stage and that room, you walk over towards the bar to the left.
Yeah.
And Dick is standing there and he hugs me. And he goes, "That was brilliant." And I go, "Thank you, Dick. From you, that means a lot." And it did. It did. He's been around forever.
Oh, yeah.
So for him to say that meant a lot, he goes, "You will be headlining from now on in this room."
Oh, awesome.
And I was like, "Thank you, Dick. That means a lot." Now, that's a catch-22, because like within a week, Kathy reaches out to me and says, "Give me your avails." They booked me to headline that room. The first time I headlined that room, I'm up on stage. The stage is not much bigger than this table.
Yeah, the stage is quite small.
To the right of the stage, there's a 2-person table where they're right up against the stage. And there's this lovely couple of women in their 60s that have shorter haircuts than you do, Tyler. And they heckled the host. They heckled the opening act. They heckled the feature. And I get up and I'm trying to deal with them. And I finally say, "Okay, sir, you've proven you have the biggest dick in the room." I did it on purpose, obviously. She stands up and goes, "Dick, check these out," and pulls her shirt up, no bra on.
Oh,
it looked like a couple of bananas that went bad.
Oh, no.
And I went,
yeah, she said like 60s, right?
Yes, early 60s. I looked at the crowd and I went, "Yeah, we're not going to forget that anytime soon, are we?" I don't know about you guys, but I am not having flapjacks tomorrow morning for breakfast.
No.
And I'm just trying to get my way out of this now because I've nothing to say. Well, obviously the door person's had enough. They're the whole way they're escorting this person out. They're yelling at me, keep pulling their shirt up. The whole room is uncomfortable. I'm like, how is this the same room that the last time I was here, I get a standing ovation. I got dick hugging me. And now this time I got this lady with a flapjack tits flashing me, telling me that you think this is a dick. And I'm like,
6 o'clocker.
And this is just, this was just, I'm like, the same room. The same room. She left, and I said to the crowd, I said, listen, we all feel a little uncomfortable. I really didn't get a chance to get going. If you guys don't mind, I'd like to do my whole set so you guys really get your money's worth tonight. So, I was supposed to do 45. We've wasted about 10, 15 minutes. I'd still like to do my 45 if you don't mind. And they all started clapping.
That's cool.
Well, that's
because now the crowd kind of feels like, oh, this guy's giving me some extra.
Yeah.
So I did my full 45, and the crowd was cool about it and everything. But it wasn't like that first time when I got that I had this amazing set and everything. It's so weird how one room can be polar opposite because it's all about the crowd.
Yeah.
Yes.
It must have been weird, like 30 minutes into that set, to suddenly have your brain go like, oh, right, an old lady's tits were out like half an hour ago.
I have never forgotten that, because the same thing, I did a weekend there where I was featuring with Carrie Louise.
I love Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie's phenomenal. Sweetheart of a person and very funny. And Friday night, awesome show. Everybody had a great set. Crowd was great. Perfect. Saturday, we were still doing 2 shows at the time. Early show, great. We do the late show, and it was about a half full. And these 2 women sitting at one of the back tables. And Carrie gets to the one joke she does where she says she has 3 sons, and it's her goal that when they're teenagers, she becomes the MILF of all the moms.
What's Carrie's last name?
Louise.
She's married to Tom Cotter.
I don't know Tom Carter.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
I'm still new.
He was on
America's Got Talent. Came in second.
Yeah.
Did he
first?
really?
He was the first comic to ever do that. Yeah.
Really? Oh, I feel like a jackass now.
He was on Jay Leno. He had his own Comedy Central special.
All right, I don't even know what Barbell is.
Good point. Touche.
Fair
Touche.
point.
So anyway, when Carrie says she wants to be a MILF, this woman stands up and goes, "That's disgusting. I have a teenage son, and I'm offended by that." And Carrie, without even skipping a beat, goes, "I know you have a teenage son. We're friends on Facebook. I'm supposed to give you one of my CDs to bring home to him tonight."
Wow.
I fell out of my chair laughing. She did it so fast. It was like it was rehearsed. It was so fast. And this woman, she stormed out, and all the way down the stairs, Carrie's yelling shit at her. Tell him I said hello. Never mind, I'll tell him myself. I have his phone number. And it was fantastic. It was so good. But that room was really unique and fun. And there are some rooms like that. It's weird because there are some rooms you feel like you walk in, I'm going to do great. Yeah. Every single time. And then other rooms were like, oh, I don't know what it is. I just can't seem to pull a great set in this room.
Well, I feel like and this isn't like a hard and fast rule, but I mean, anytime I walk into a room, like a restaurant, a bar, anywhere, I kind of size it up if you could do comedy there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, or like, what's the ceiling like? What's this? Like, and I feel like that does have something to do with it. But like you said, it's the people that make or break.
Johnny Peasy's room that he had, the LOL up in North Andover. Yeah. That was another room that I feel like I could have just read the menu to the people and would have gotten laughs. No matter what I did there, I always had great sets. It was just a really, really good room. I never struggled there for whatever reason. The crowds were always there just to see comedy, and they would sit there and appreciate it. And every comedian did well there because they just appreciated comedy. Do you have any rooms that when you walk in, Tyler, you just, okay, I feel you, and I think some of that is because you feel confident when you walk into certain rooms because you know you do well there. But you have certain rooms when you walk in, you feel I'm gonna have a great set, and other ones where you're like, oh.
So I go into every show as just I'm gonna have a good time. Whatever happens, happens. If I bomb, I've only had a few situations where I've left the room and I felt like I really bombed. And it's only happened like 3 or 4 times where I felt like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that.
I think he's lying.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it sounds real nice to be you.
No, I'm just.
I think he's fucking lying. There's no 3 or 4 times.
All my shows have been either good or really good.
I'm cocking.
A bad show for me is like an A-.
So, no, because if you just
the laughs were just somewhat boisterous.
So if you just go into the room,
only 3/4.
Oh my God, let me talk.
Only 3/4 of the crowd gave me a standing ovation.
So as I always go into every show just to have a good time. Like I'm here to have a good time. If they don't laugh, I mean, I'm sorry.
How do you have a good time if they don't laugh?
It happens. It just happens. You've seen my sets.
But have you had a set where yes, okay, you're having a good time, but they're not?
Oh yeah.
There it is.
I told you about it on the last episode. Now you asked, have we had a weird set after COVID?
Yeah, since COVID.
So me and you were on the same show at Cello's. Remember that?
Yeah.
All right. Remember I had telling you I was like I had back pain. Pain. Remember I had a kidney stone. I was going for
yes.
All right. So now me and you are together the next week, right? At Galactic Theater in Warren. Yes. So I remember getting on stage.
You did fine that night.
I was in so much pain. It was like no.
You still had your stint in that night.
All right. So let me explain. So I was urinating blood for a while, and I'm like, there's something wrong with me, and I don't know what it is.
So shy.
I'm not shy at all, baby.
He needs to open up more.
Sarcastic.
So I go to the doctors, and they're like, it could be
good with sarcasm.
They're like, it could be either cancer. You could have cancer.
I love this. Either kidney stones or cancer. There's no in between.
That's
that.
literally what I got. Like they're like kidney stones or cancer. But we're gonna wait 2 weeks.
Could I get a second opinion?
We're gonna wait 2 weeks to give you an MRI. So just wait. And I'm like, why 2 weeks? They're like that. That's all we got.
Yeah.
So,
MRIs do take forever.
So the first show I have is with you at Cello's. Remember that? We were together. And I'm like,
unfortunately, I do remember.
I get this back pain. You're like, shut up about your dick. And I'm like, no, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. He did. And he kept walking around and he's like, shut up, Tyler.
I did say that.
Oh.
I told you I'm an asshole.
So I go in and I get the kidney.
You didn't have to tell us that.
Yeah,
we do. So we go in. They go in. They blast the kidney stones. And I have a stint for 2 weeks. In my
yes,
kidney.
I know. This guy,
I'm explaining it for the audience.
His stint came out by accident, and he sends me a fucking picture of it.
Yeah,
came out like
it's like I was taking a piss, and it fell out. And the doctor was like, "You have to push it back in."
And your first thought was, "I gotta text this to Scott."
Yes. He sends me a picture of it.
Oh, so. I had been asking to be put on
Was
these.
It cool looking? I don't know what am I supposed to say to that.
No,
I did
There's nothing cool looking about it. You did. You did.
I put my hand next to it to measure it.
Yes, you did.
I did do that. So let's hang on.
I still have it. So back
up. So I get the stint. I have 2 shows that I begged to be put on. Like for months, I was like, I need to do this show. And it was like, all right, I'll put you on this date. So I finally get put on the show. I have the stint in. I am in so much pain. Scott's there. I go to get on stage. I forgot the physical part of me getting on stage, which is I sit on the edge of the stage. I physically pick my walker up. I put it on the stage, and then I get in the walker, and then I crawl up to the microphone. I get the microphone. I start my set. I forgot all of that. So now I have the stint in me, and I'm doing this, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot of pain. So we're at the Galactic Theater. I'm eating my grilled cheese. I'm having a good time. Scott comes over. He's like, you ready to go? I can't drink at all with the stint in. They don't want you to drink nothing but water. So I get on stage and it's like I can't even think straight. It hurts so bad. I do my normal set. I have a decent set. I'm okay with my set. I was okay. You would never know that there was something wrong.
There was a small crowd that night, but you seemed fine.
I seemed fine, but I was in like earth-shattering pain. Like every time I moved, I could feel it all the way up my kidney. The next night, me and Rodney Norman.
Yo, I love Rodney.
So me and Rodney Norman do a show. I do a show in Pawtucket. I bring Rodney with me, and we have to walk like a quarter mile to the show.
Well,
like,
he walked.
No, like we parked, and then I rolled, and he walked, and we had to go like a quarter of a mile, right? And it was like a long walk, and like the more you walk, the more it hurts. But like, I don't want to talk about it on stage because I feel like it's too gross of a topic that the crowd is going to go, this is too much.
Whoa. Okay, I pause for a second.
Okay.
It's too gross of a topic, but you sent me a fucking picture.
So we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
And you're talking about it on a podcast.
We're going to get there in a minute. So we're going to get there in a minute. So I do the second show. Now, this is back-to-back shows. So Friday, I'm with you at the Galactic. The next night, I'm in Pawtucket for a thing called a Culture Fest. And I'm like, and it's a big show. And like, you walk in the room and you feel the energy. You're like, this is a big show. And like, the show keeps getting delayed. No, like, we're going to start at 9. Now it's like 10:30. And I'm like, I'm in pain. I can feel the stint moving around inside me.
Oh, don't describe that shit.
Oh, that's a horrible image.
It's going to get way worse. So I go up there and I have another good set. Like a set that I'm proud of. So we leave. I'm like, Rodney, you got to go get the car. I can't walk back to it. And he's like, yeah, no. So he goes to get the car. So a week goes by, and now my wife is a nurse. My wife is an RN. She works at a hospital. So my wife has the duty of pulling the stint out at home. Scott, at home.
No need to repeat it.
We're going to go over this.
Picture painted.
None.
So this is my
first time. All information is neaded.
So we're going to go over it. So my wife goes and gets my son, who's 10 months old.
And had him do it.
Baby's first dexterity.
Ruining all the genitalia.
The kid still has it on his mobile above his bed.
My wife goes and gets our kid because he wakes up. It's first thing in the morning. It's Tuesday morning. You can remove the stint Tuesday morning. Your wife's qualified to remove the stents. Tuesday morning, we wake up. I wake up. I'm like, I'm getting my dick back today.
Yeah, she removed it like she was pull starting a lawnmower.
Yeah, she did. And she even said, motherfucker. Now, my favorite part.
I don't have a penis and I'm still in pain listening to this.
My favorite part about all of that is now my son has just learned this. No. So my wife goes and gets our kid. He wakes up. She's like, I got to go get the kid. So he's in here with us. He can't be awake by himself. So she puts him on a blanket or a towel in the bathroom with us. And
this kid is never going to let a woman touch his penis. Ever.
He's sitting in the corner of the bathroom.
His first memory right here.
He's sitting in the corner of the bathroom. I'm going, no. No. And I'm sitting looking at him. I'm like, no. My wife's like, breathe in. Ready? Here we go. Exhale as I remove. She wraps it around her finger. She removes it like what you just said. Like she was pull starting a lawnmower that's never fucking started.
Like the engine seized.
Oh. And I'm on the ground and I'm shaking my head. No.
She's like, walk now, motherfucker.
Yeah. Maybe this will pull start your fucking legs.
I say it'd be amazing if she did that and all of a sudden you popped up.
Do that on stage. Maybe this will pull start your legs. That's a great line.
Oh, so bad.
That's a great line.
Oh my God, Eric, so fucking bad.
My wife pulled it out like I was going to walk again after she was done.
I will never forget it.
I didn't know she was a faith healer.
Yeah, you were worried about not being able to talk about it on stage. Like, you should do this as a bit. Seriously.
I totally would do that. That's a great bit.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
She pulled it like I was going to walk again.
Oh,
that's great.
It was brutal. And then I had a show that night, right? That night. So I get to the show and I'm like, there's something wrong. Like she did something wrong. Like I sent Scott a picture of the stent and with my hand next to it.
Yeah.
So he knew
he wanted to have a comparison.
At least it wasn't as it was coming out. I feel like that.
No, he sent that as a video.
Yeah, it was a GIF.
Just keeps doing it over and over again.
It was a boomerang.
I made it into a meme that I send to people now.
Now, Scott, I didn't talk to you during the week, so I'm at home alone, and the stint falls out.
You told me this story.
I know.
It sucks.
Oh, I don't know what I did to God to have a stint in a walker at 31, but it wasn't fucking good.
You fucked up somehow.
Somehow.
Dude, in a past life, you pissed somebody off.
I did some bad. Oh, my God.
You stepped on a bug that was going to cure cancer.
Oh,
that's what it was. You weed whacked the plant that was going to cure cancer.
Oh, so bad.
Good call.
So bad. And like now I'm scared to death. Like all I do is drink water. Like I drink pound water like it's going out of style.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Yeah, not
baby.
tonight.
No.
There is water in that, technically.
There was. It's gone.
Technically. Oh, man. But you know what? We go back every week because there's nothing better than standing on stage and telling us stories and making people laugh. And, you know, I got to say that in the 20 years that I've been doing this summer has probably been the best summer I've had doing comedy, the busiest. I've had people reach out to me. Hey, you available for this? You available for that? And I filled so many weekends. It was great. And the crowds, I mean, since COVID has ended, like, and you said it, Shea, the crowds are so receptive and so happy to be out again and having fun that I've gotten so much great feedback from people that are at shows that it's just, it's kind of like in the beginning when you first started and you're having a bunch of good shows and you felt great, you know, about doing it. You couldn't wait to get back out there again. That's back again.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I really hope that doesn't go away because, you know, we all get to a point and, you know, you haven't been doing it long enough yet, Tyler. You probably haven't gotten to that point yet, Shea, but everyone does get to a point in their career where you're going to kind of, for a while, just kind of, you have a set, you're going to do your set, and you kind of, for lack of a better term, go through the motions.
Yeah.
Because you have a set that works. And you're not going to do any new jokes. You're not going to do any writing. You're just going to do that set that you have for about a 6-month stretch. And then you're going to realize, I'm kind of mailing it in. And it's almost like you didn't appreciate it. And then what's nice is that 2020 made us appreciate what we didn't have.
Yeah.
And now we have it back. And I don't want to lose it again.
Well, I think that's a lot of
I don't want to lose it again.
A lot of like the fire, like I feel like 2020 either like weeded some people out,
which definitely did, yeah,
or like fired some people up. Like, and it was like nothing in the middle. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I agree.
Like that's what, you know, I took a break to get sober.
Yeah.
That's why rocking the water. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
But like
I'm kind of buzzed
over. Yeah, that's what I love. I'm passing whiskey between the two of you.
We appreciate that, by the way.
Oh yeah, you know, like you know, it's just like if you can't do, teach. If you can't drink, pass. But there's definitely there is, I think, amongst comics and amongst audiences, but at least like for me, like I hated that like amongst my first sets coming back were Zoom sets. Like, and those were just brutal. I mean, they were what, like, it was nice to like see faces.
It's what we had.
And like,
it's what we had. So but, you had to make it work.
Yeah. But that first time getting back in front of like a real audience, my first like real setback, both like post COVID and just post, you know, taking some time off was at Fox and Hound in Quincy. It was Pat Collins's room.
Oh yeah.
Was great.
Yeah.
But I remember I was like super nervous. I hadn't been on stage without drinking in a while.
Right.
And it was just that feeling. Like I remember.
So it was different to you.
Oh yeah.
This was completely, opposite of what you were doing before you stepped away. So
yeah, well, because when I first started doing stand up, I would never drink before a set. Like I maybe have like a beer, but then slowly as things progressed, there was like 2 years there where I definitely wasn't sober on stage. And yeah, I mean, it was I remember just being like, oh right, that's that feeling of electricity and that feeling of just knowing that you connect with perfect strangers. Like that, I think is the best part, is when it's like you were saying before, like I remember one time when I was before the Boston Comedy Festival, I must have looked incredibly nervous because Sean Bedwood came up to me and he's like, just have fun. And I was like, yeah, I know. And he goes, no, you don't right now. Like seriously, just have fun.
Just have fun.
And like, ever since he said that, that's what I think before I go on stage. And it is, I mean, there's just something magical about just having fun with a big bunch of strangers.
Yes.
Two things that have happened since COVID is it reinvigorated me that I've written so much more stuff and I'm not afraid to try it. I every time I do a set, I try to do something different,
incorporate it,
put something new in there, add something, just kind of change it up. And the other thing is, just before I go out, every time now I'm like, I get to do this. I don't have to do it. I get to do this. I'm lucky enough that I get to do this. How many people want to do something like this and they never get the opportunity or never take the chance?
Yeah.
Or never push themselves past that fear of doing it. I get to do this. How lucky am I that I get to do this? So when I walk out there, the nerves kind of go away because I get to stand in front of these people and do the thing I love the most. How lucky am I?
Yeah, and it is a privilege, if you will.
It is.
Like
that's not a cliche to say that. You're right.
Yeah, like anytime I get like down on myself, because it's like I said, it's been hard, like starting up again.
I can imagine.
Well, especially not to reveal too much about my personal life, but my boyfriend and I just broke up recently.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it is what it is. But when we broke up, I was like, not to be crass, but I just lost like 7 minutes of material. And he was like, I knew you were thinking of that. But it's because I don't like to do jokes that aren't true to my life. So it's jokes about him and his family that I had to drop. So I'm like playing catch up from that. But it is like, the times that I get down and the times that I get discouraged, it is, just that feeling of like when a joke just lands and when people just look and you connect and it's like, all right, this is why I'm putting myself through the ringer like this.
When someone comes up to you after a show and says they repeat something you said and said, I've been through that same thing, or I have that exact thing. Yeah. That's one of the greatest moments. Because when you've made that real connection with somebody, that to me are the best moments. When I have someone come up to me after a show and say, when you were telling that story about this, I went through that same thing. I was oh my God, I connected them on this real human level that, I didn't just tell a fart joke. I actually connected with these people.
I say yes to like everything. Like, cause I know like maybe one day I won't get asked. So I just kind of ride whatever I'm.
Well, honestly, 3 years in, you're doing it correctly because you're accepting. You got to work as much as possible as you keep building your time and building your act and everything like that. And you've hooked up with the right people. There's a lot of very good comics that like working with you that offer you different gigs and stuff like that. So and you're taking them, and so you're doing the right thing.
Thank you.
This business, you can't get better at comedy other than standing in front of an audience and doing comedy.
Yeah.
Stage time.
You can write at home. You can stand in front of the mirror and rehearse the wording and the timing as much as you want. None of that matters until you do it in front of a crowd.
Well, I forget I love this quote, so I probably brought this up the last time I was on the show. So sorry if I'm repeating myself. But in the book I Killed, Jerry Seinfeld writes the foreword, and he says, stand-up's the only job where they throw you in the middle. Nobody shows up to their first day of med school and gets handed a scalpel.
Right.
Like, just basically like the only way to figure out how to do it is to stand in front of people and figure out how to do it.
Right.
Yes, sink or swim. It's trial by fire.
And also the other thing is once you've done open mics and you've worked on some material and you get hired, where do they put you? Opening spot or hosting? The toughest position on the show.
Oh my God! Every time I put it as a host, it blows my, because I'm like,
how the fuck do you host wheeling up?
It's the most physical, like the most physical.
He's fast on that thing.
I can't help myself.
I'm very fast.
He uses the motorized one for those nights.
No, I use 4 brand new tennis balls. I use the good off of
the pre-cut ones, that apparently
the pre-cut
national balls.
So I got every time I get hosted, every time I get booked to do a hosting spot, it blows my mind. I'm like, let's have the person who has the physical challenge do the most physical labor for the show.
You know what though, Ian? The bad part when I started was if you were a good host, they wanted to keep hosting you, and then you got stuck in that position. And New England, it was the only place where the newest guy was the host.
Okay,
you left New England, and usually the person that would be the feature act in New England would be the host.
Okay, and
the person that is the newest act would do the guest spot in the middle.
Got you.
So you'd have a stronger act,
the cushy spot,
right? You'd have the stronger act do the opening and bring up the guest spot, and then do a few more minutes, and then bring up the headliner. But then New England is also the only place where you would have headline hosts, like Kevin Knox when he did his open mic night at the Comedy Connection. He would host it and then close it.
Oh,
Paul Nardizzi Tuesday nights at the Connection. He would host it and then close it at the end.
Were you at the I did the Comedy Park and I hosted it, and I thought the worst thing was going to be the physical. Now, I've never hosted before, or this was like my second time hosting, and I thought the biggest barrier or the biggest obstacle I was going to have was the physical part of hosting, getting on and off stage, getting on and off, bringing up the next comic, getting ready, and I fucked up everybody's name. Like the physical part wasn't even a factor.
No, I usually when I hosted was very good with names.
Yeah.
Oh, I
one time screwed up a name, and I've told the story many times on here.
Oh, I forgot your name.
You did. That's right. We did. We were doing a Funny for Fun show. Ace booked it, and Tyler was opening up. I was featuring, and Ace was closing the show. And Ace said before the show, he goes, "Hey, we're going to tag team it." Assuming Tyler knew what a tag team show was, and he didn't. So Ace does the opening introductions, brings Tyler up. Tyler does his set, does fine, does great. The crowd loves him. At the end of it, he's looking around for who's coming up to take the mic, and no one's coming up because I'm waiting for him to intro me.
Say your name. Yeah.
And he's just kind of looking around, and he looks at me, and I'm like, "You have to intro me." And he goes, "Oh, okay." So he starts to do the intro, and he's like, he says to the crowd, "I don't remember this guy's name."
I was like, "Are you guys ready for your next comic?" And I look over you like, "Introduce me."
It's
and I'm
this
like,
guy.
And then he looks back at me, and I go, "I'm not coming up to you. Say my name." And I'm just making him sweat.
Oh man. Well, it's like I always will repeat it over and over again in my head, like beforehand. But there was the only time that I can remember that I couldn't remember the next comic's name. It just so happened. It was actually Bill booked us at this country club show, and it just so happened they had made this huge poster with our headshots and our names right behind the stage. And so I just very carefully went, "Your next comic." And said, I can't remember who it was, but I can remember his first name, not his last name. But I just very casually did this, and I get off stage. Ace was headlining, and Ace is like, "No one else noticed that move, but I did." I was like, "All right, well, as long as it was smoothly done."
The only time I ever really did was with Rich Seisler. Rich was a great comic. passed away way too early. This was back in the day. The Connection used to book you Wednesday to Sunday, 7 shows. And we worked together the entire week. We get to the Sunday show. I go up, I'm hosting. I do the opening spot, I bring up the feature. I go back out, I do a couple minutes. I go to bring up Rich. I do his intro, nailed it perfectly, and go, ladies and gentlemen, your headliner. I look over. He's standing there looking at me, blank. I have no idea his name. He knew it in a second that I forgot his name. He starts grinning from ear to ear. And he crosses his arms like,
yes.
I'm thinking to myself, please mouth your name, something. He won't say anything. And it felt like it was 10 minutes, but it was probably 30 seconds. And I go, Rich Seisler, everybody. And they all start clapping. He walks up on stage. He goes, I was going to make you wait forever until I said it. And he thought it was hilarious.
Well, I feel like so often too, if it's a complicated, like if the credit that you're giving is something that you really don't want to screw up, you end up messing up.
Yeah, because you're too worried about remembering that. So.
Well, I love, there was one time recently that I was hosting for Steve Sweeney, and he had all these new jokes. He had just filmed a movie in Thailand. And
with Bill Murray.
Yeah. And he's like, just tell them I just finished filming a movie in Thailand. And I was like, okay. And he told me that at the beginning of the show. And I'm like, all right, remember, you just think of that area of the world. Just think of that area of the world. And that will remind you. Just think about like that hemisphere. And that will remind you. I get up on stage and I was like, he just finished filming a movie in the Philippines. Like, and it just like came out because I was picturing where I knew that they had child prostitutes. That was the thing that I did to remember it. I was the place where they have child prostitutes. He gets on stage and he's like, it was he must have spent a good, like, over the course of a set, a good 10 minutes just ripping me a new one. And we got Shea over here saying the Philippines when it was actually Thailand. But I mean, it helped the set because he got like extra jokes.
Was just helping you out, Steve.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I was like, I was just giving you a chance to riff on me. You know what I mean? But oh my God, I couldn't. I get off stage and I'm like, Thailand.
Don't you hate when you remember it moments later?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's the worst.
All right. So I think we've covered quite a bit tonight. We talked about paranormal. We talked about, culture and comedy nowadays. We've talked about, Tyler milking his handicap for laughs in a very cheesy way.
I learned way too much about stints inside of Tyler's body.
Way too much. Don't worry. All of that will be cut out of the audio before it gets uploaded. I have to do a lot of editing on this episode.
Did you know they just remove it just by pulling it?
I do now.
And did you know that for all of you listening, just go to the show notes and the picture will be included.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, will it?
No, not at all. Not at all. I was just kidding. Tyler, where can people go to learn about you?
All right. So you can follow me on Facebook under Tyler Hittner or my Instagram at Wheels1990 with a Z. I am at the Comedy Park this Sunday.
This doesn't come out that quick. So.
Oh, it doesn't come out this quick. It's not Facebook Live?
Yeah, we are, but audio-wise.
All right, well, Facebook Live. So, I got Comedy Park this Sunday. Next Sunday, I am at the Comedy Connection. So, there's that. So, yeah.
Really doing that Cranston, the Providence tour, aren't you?
Doing the Cranston Providence tour.
Touring around the state. What does it take? Like 45 minutes?
We might stop at Harrisville.
Cranston, Providence is like 7 minutes.
We might make a pit stop in Harrisville, which is
stop in Onlyville for some
wieners part of
on your way.
That's not handicap friendly. So if you see me with a hot wiener, someone had to get it for me.
Okay.
Go get me
that's
two fully loaded.
A hot wiener.
Yeah, that's a loaded statement.
If I had a nickel.
Yeah. Every time I had a hot wiener. Shea?
You can find me pretty much across the board. It's at Shea Spillane. Shea like the butter of the stadium. Spillane like Mickey.
Perfect.
That's Instagram, Facebook, all that.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love hanging with you guys. Everybody else, again, mention us to a friend, 5-star written review. Go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/behind the funny. Episodes you can't find anywhere else, merch, all kinds of great stuff. And check out the guys at the Mixtape Podcast. A lot of great stuff coming up, a lot of great episodes. So stay tuned. And other than that, we will talk to you next week.